clearly awaken the world's only 6S level contract talent, but the Academy still deemed me a useless waste. This is only because I can sign contracts with creatures of any level and freely manipulate their flesh and souls. Although this ability is powerful, it has one very obvious drawback. The contracted creature must voluntarily consume a contract gem while fully aware of the implications. Even a slight resistance from the soul renders it ineffective. But what creature would willingly hand over control of its life to someone else? Seeing my despair, my childhood friend Su Jingyao comforted me. Don't give up so early. The world is vast. Surely there are creatures willing to let you control them. I just smiled indifferently. Easy for you to say. Besides myself, who else would be willing? Myself. An idea struck me, and I swallowed the contract gem in one gulp. If I can perfectly control myself, wouldn't that be the legendary 100% control over one's body? After swallowing the gem, my body underwent slight changes, and streams of green gas visible only to me drifted into the air. Su Jingyao anxiously asked if I was alright, to which I shook my head smiling. Don't do this again. That was really scary. Seeing I was fine, she breathed a sigh of relief and turned to head back to the dormitory. She was joining the patrol team the next morning. Protecting our homeland had always been her dream, and me, deemed useless, was assigned a farmer's job by the school. So, it might be difficult to see each other again in the future. As she was leaving, she gave me a look, the reluctance hidden deep in her eyes. Parting was indeed hard. I really wanted to give her a hug. Just as the thought crossed my mind, my body moved on its own and hugged her tightly. Moments later, Su Jingyao shyly pushed me away and left to take care before running back to the dormitory. I stood there deep in thought. My body had unconsciously hugged her. Had I subconsciously commanded myself? I needed to confirm the extent of my control. After some testing, I finally concluded. I can now confidently say that I can make my body perform any action, as long as it does not exceed the limits of a normal human, such as flying or transforming into another species. Moreover, I can perform some movements impressively well even without prior practice, based solely on memory. So, theoretically, as long as my physical condition is up to standard, I can master any martial art. If I want to get stronger, all I need to do is improve my physical fitness. However, there's still one thing I need to verify. Time quickly advanced to the next day. Before sleeping, I had commanded myself to wake up at 4 a.m. to go running. Although my consciousness was still asleep, my body moved on its own. This state was somewhat akin to sleepwalking. By 6 o'clock when I came to, I was already sitting in the cafeteria. Seeing the scene before me, a smile curled at the corner of my mouth. Just as I had guessed, my body could indeed execute commands while my brain was unconscious. I wonder if anyone noticed me. Just as I was looking around, suddenly there was a commotion among many students nearby. Luo Shiyu is here. Luo Shiyu is the school beauty. Most terrifyingly, she captivates both genders, with admirers among not only the male students but also numerous female ones. As I turned towards the voice, my pupils dilated, and I froze on the spot. In my memory, Luo Shiyu was a slender and beautiful girl. What stood before me was a 2-meter-tall giant fox. It wore a girl's face on its forehead and brazenly stood among everyone. However, everyone else seemed oblivious, gazing at it adoringly. Good morning, Zhang Ping. The giant fox greeted me with a raspy voice as it passed by me. You don't look too well. Are you sick? I commanded myself to stay calm, nodding without changing my expression. Good morning, Luo Shiyu. I just had a nightmare last night and didn't sleep well. I have classes soon, so I need to go. With that, I got up and left the cafeteria as usual. Why are there mutated beasts in the school? Hasn't anyone noticed them? Am I seeing things? I need to report this to a teacher immediately. I quickly made my way to the staff room, only to see that one of the teachers was also a fox wearing human skin. Seeing this, I walked past the staff room without changing my expression, not seeking help inside. It seems the teachers might not be reliable either. The human skins on those two mutated beasts were very old, clearly indicating that they had been lurking in the school for more than just a day or two. But before swallowing the contract gem, I was unaware of Luo Shiyu and that unknown teacher being mutated beasts, just like most of my classmates. So, this change must stem from the contract gem I swallowed. Since the change originated from the gem I ate yesterday, what would happen if I ate another? I picked up another contract gem and swallowed it again. This time, it felt like a transcendence. Upon opening my eyes, the world seemed brighter and more vivid. As I looked, a pool of illusory blood appeared on the previously blank ground. A prompt voice sounded in my ears. Appraisal successful. Replaying the footage. The voice ended, and a horrifying scene emerged before my eyes. A giant fox wearing human skin was gnawing on a person's head. Could this be the awakening of an appraisal spell? I looked at my palm in confusion and indeed found. Identifying. Summon beast. Zhang Ping. Master. Zhang Ping. Species. Human. Growth value. 3 stars. Contract gem level 1. By consuming physical and mental energy, a contract gem is formed. Once the target voluntarily accepts the contract gem, their life, soul, and consciousness are dominated by the summoner. Absolute command. You have absolute dominance over summoned beasts, and they cannot defy your commands. Absolute obedience. You will absolutely obey the summoner's commands and loyally execute every order given by the summoner. Appraisal spell. You can see the specific values of the target and perform identification identifications. The success rate of the identification depends on the power disparity between the parties. This talent came unexpectedly. Could it be related to the gem I consumed again? With this question, I returned to the classroom to analyze the current situation. I have now become my own summoner and summon beast, controlled only by the summoner. Myself, my body and mind are immune to external interference, so all illusions are ineffective against me. This allows me to see the true forms of the mutated beasts. These beasts are all natural order foxes, high-level creatures. I am currently only at level 1, no match for them. The natural order foxes use an extraordinary ability called cognitive distortion that makes even cannibalism appear as a normal conversation to others. After class at noon, I quickly ate lunch and left the school. I had already thought of an excuse to visit the patrol team to find Su Jingyao and to see how many mutated beasts were in the city. Along the way, I spotted many natural order foxes confidently walking on the streets, some even conversing convincingly with people. 2 hours later, I arrived at the headquarters of the patrol team and approached the information desk to ask, "Excuse me, I am looking for someone." A natural order fox behind the counter spoke in a raspy voice. "Who are you looking for?" I replied without changing my expression. "Su Jingyao. She should have just reported here today." The natural order fox nodded and then checked the records. I waited in the lobby. Shortly after, a natural order fox wearing Su Jingyao's face on its forehead approached. "Zhang Ping, why are you here?" she asked. I looked at her and smiled. "I was mainly worried you wouldn't adapt well to the patrol team. How do you feel?" The natural order fox pointed to its comrades behind it. "It's pretty good. They are all my teammates, and everyone takes good care of me. From now on, I need to strive to become stronger, to go out and fight mutated beasts, and to avenge my parents. By the way, we are still short of people. You want me to refer you to the patrol team?" Hearing this, I quickly waved my hands to decline. "It seems you've adapted well, so I won't bother you anymore." With that, I turned and left the place, feeling dejected. "Goodbye, Su Jingyao," I murmured. After stepping outside, I clenched my fists in anger. What a joke! Wasn't the patrol team said to be the strongest in Pearl City? How could they have been wiped out? Su Jingyao had just arrived today, and she was already harmed. It seems the natural order fox's infiltration isn't limited to the school, but the entire city. Everyone in Pearl City is like livestock they keep. Next, I entered a diagonal restaurant not far away, which happened to have a view of the patrol team headquarters entrance. An afternoon passed, and I left there only after gathering the information I needed. Through the appraisal spell, I discovered that the natural order foxes are categorized into beginner, intermediate, advanced, and top levels. Most natural order foxes are between intermediate and advanced levels, but even the patrol team, which has a large number of high-level awakened, cannot contend with them. The natural order fox that killed Luo Shiyu is very strong, and my intuition tells me that using the appraisal spell on it would reveal my location, so it's probably at the top level, or even a king-level entity. Other natural order foxes can defeat awakened above their level, surely because of its influence. Unlike ordinary mutated beasts, natural order foxes are highly intelligent and skilled in disguise. On the surface, they coexist harmoniously with humans, but that's just a facade. Their primary targets are often people with strong abilities, great potential, or high social status. The rest of the people are just their reserve food. Confronting a natural order fox head-on is akin to seeking death, but I can't just watch as innocent people are sent to their deaths. If I could become stronger. A week later, over the past few days, I have been consistently exercising and managed to level up. Besides daily workouts, I also tried to create gems and consume them, hoping to gain new abilities or talents like the previous times. But since I awakened the appraisal spell, the gems I produced were colorless and had no effect when consumed. However, this gem finally had some color again. I threw the gem into my mouth, chewed it a bit, and then swallowed it. This time, suddenly, there was complete silence, as if the whole world had lost its sound. After a while, I emerged from the silence, and the sounds of crickets and frogs started again. I immediately cast the appraisal spell on myself. Suddenly, a new talent ability appeared within me. Night Walker. Gain night vision. Presence significantly reduced at night. Movement speed greatly increased. Body weight reduced. Being in the shadows allows for complete invisibility. Also, the contract gem has leveled up. Could this be related to my own level? Does every level up awaken a new talent? Wouldn't that make me invincible? There's no time to waste. I should go exercise now and test the effects of my new talent. It's just past 4 in the morning, still dark, and it's very quiet around, with only me running on the track. After gaining the Night Walker ability, I've found that my vision is even better at night than during the day. A ring on the ground caught my attention. It is a dark silver ring, and I wonder who dropped it here. Although the material of the ring doesn't look particularly valuable, it is finely crafted, and the patterns on it are very intricate, not like a mere decoration. I tried to use the appraisal spell on it, but failed several times in succession. It took more than 10 attempts before I could identify the properties of the ring. Assassination ring. Once worn, all living beings will subconsciously ignore the wearer, although those above advanced awakened are immune. At the same time as the identification was successful, a replay of a previous scene natural order ally appeared before my eyes. I saw a man in white clothes, wearing a black mask, fighting with Luo Shiyu on the track, but the man was clearly no match for Luo Shiyu. Not only was he cut off 3 fingers, but he was also bisected at the waist. Luo Shiyu is an orphan, and given her character, she wouldn't make enemies. There's only one possibility then. Apart from me, there are others in Pearl City secretly fighting these monsters. As I was pondering, suddenly a raspy voice of a natural order fox came from afar. Who's there? The natural order fox jumped onto the track, crouched down, and carefully sniffed the surrounding scents. The track had a mix of scents, but it could distinguish the time these scents were left. However, after some searching, it subconsciously ignored a certain scent, thus finding nothing. No scent. How is that possible? I must quickly notify His Royal Highness. I used the effect of Night Walker to hide nearby, watching the natural order fox leave the track, and breathed a sigh of relief. Could this ring be a bait left by the natural order fox? Whether this ring is a bait or not, I've already picked it up. It would be more suspicious to put it back deliberately now, so I have to keep it. The sky is gradually brightening, and it's now 5:30 in the morning. I've also returned to my dorm. The assassination ring made me realize that power is not limited to one's own strength, and there are many magical equipment in Pearl City. These equipment are generally made by blacksmiths and have special abilities. I decided to go out tonight to investigate and see the prices of such equipment. At that moment, a voice suddenly entered my mind. Zhang Ping, it's dangerous. Hide. They're here. This voice was familiar. It was Su Jingyao's voice. A few minutes later, Luo Shiyu pushed open the door and leisurely walked into the dormitory. She made a round inside the room, then approached me, lowering her head to look me in the eye. In the quiet dormitory, only my steady breathing could be heard. Luo Shiyu's narrow fox eyes slightly narrowed, and she extended a paw towards my head, but stopped at the last moment, expressionless. If this waste were a fish that slipped through the net, he would definitely jump up and fight for his life. Moreover, I do not sense the ring's aura. After pondering, she slowly withdrew her claw. A natural order fox behind her asked confusedly, "Your Highness, why not kill him? This person jogs every morning, yet he did not go today, which is certainly suspicious." Luo Shiyu coldly shook her head. "It's not him. Do not waste food." The natural order fox behind her immediately realized it had spoken out of turn, quickly lowered its head and tail, showing submission. Half an hour later, the me who was in a deep sleep in the dorm suddenly opened my eyes. Only after confirming that the natural order fox had left did I relax. That was close. Scared me to death. I actually forgot my daily morning jogging habit, but fortunately, I had commanded my body to forcefully sleep, not showing any flaws. Speaking of which, I seem to have heard Su Jingyao's voice earlier. Was it just an illusion? Afterward, I went to the cafeteria as usual. Just as I got there, I heard many students discussing Black Death Star died right next to the school. Black Death Star was a notorious assassin in Pearl City, willing to kill anyone for the right price, even the city lord himself. It is said that the former city lord was wounded by Black Death Star and later died young due to the recurring old wounds. Could Black Death Star be the man in white who tried to assassinate Luo Shiyu last night? Even the top assassin was easily killed. Luo Shiyu's strength is indeed unfathomable. Was displaying the corpse publicly intended to warn those forces opposing the natural order foxes? They will surely heighten their guard now. I need to find some equipment for protection soon. After class, I'll visit the blacksmith shop. In the afternoon, after school, I stopped at a street corner, my gaze turning towards a nearby shop, discovering that its owner was a natural order fox. "Young man, come in and have a look." Hearing this, I waved my hands repeatedly, politely refusing it. The priority was to find a shop not controlled by them. Half an hour later, I arrived at a weapons shop called Iron Soul. After observing, I found that the shop had few customers, mostly adventurers. Looking at the shop's condition, the owner was human, not a natural order fox. Inside the shop, a man in his 30s was demonstrating a fine sword, swinging it. "Shop owner, this is top quality merchandise. If you're willing to buy, I'll give you the lowest price, though it pains me to do so." The shop owner, older and seemingly a bit senile, took a puff of his dry pipe and spoke slowly. "What did you say?" "My daughter is waiting for me to eat." Seeing his irrelevant answer, the young man became immediately infuriated. I then walked over and picked up his sword to appraise it. Ding! An ornate one-handed sword, ordinary quality, looks good but not practical, and it was broken before, poorly repaired. Upon seeing this, the young man furiously rushed forward to snatch it back, resulting in a snap as the sword broke in half. "Damn it, daring to ruin my good deal. Do you know who I am? I am the direct disciple of Master Ma from the Shingi Martial Arts Academy. Take this, five-fold lightning assault." After shouting, he pounced like a cheetah. However, just as he got close, he was met with a forceful backhand slap from me. Identification. Name, Lu Baogua. Growth potential, 1 star. Primordial Chi. Any move performed comes with strong special effects abilities, earth-shattering, spectacular visual effects. This energy spell can only be seen by the user himself. Overuse may cause the user to become lost in their own world, unable to extricate themselves. Is this guy here for comedy? I turned away, not bothering with him. Unexpectedly, he tried a sneak attack but was discovered and knocked down with one punch. Just then, a woman's voice came from outside. "How long was I out that the shop has become so lively? Are you leaving on your own, or shall I send you off?" Seeing the woman's fierce demeanor, Lu Baogua panicked and hurriedly scrambled away. I was just about to leave, but she stopped me. "Don't go, let's talk." I asked her puzzled. Talk about what? Cho Kong slightly smiled and said, I'm a single woman, struggling every day to make a living and also taking care of my uncle who has become senile because his daughter went missing. I see you are in good health and seem to be a decent person. Why not stay and work as a blacksmith? You could take care of old Master Lu Typhoon and help manage the store. Room and board included, plus a salary. Learning blacksmith skills would indeed save me a lot of money on equipment in the future. Plus, this shop doesn't seem to be controlled by the natural order fox. With this thought, I agreed. I am going to be the king of blacksmiths. A few days later inside the blacksmith shop, Cho Kong nodded vigorously, instructing me to put the iron ingots and materials into the furnace while quickly stirring with her hand in the fire. It didn't look like weapon forging, but more like kneading dough. She explained, many of these materials need to be manually stirred evenly, so this method of forging is also called dough kneading forging technique. She went to get a mold for me to operate on my own, just instructing me to make sure the fire doesn't go out. I nodded and gradually added the materials. Unexpectedly, I added too much, and the intense flames suddenly exploded, causing a burning sensation in my stomach, making me gasp in cold air. Who knew that with this gasp, the flames in the furnace were sucked up into my nose like water flowing. This warm flame entered my heart through my throat. Having sucked away too much heat, the fire on the furnace went out immediately. I clutched my chest and hurriedly checked my attributes. Identification successful. Summon beast. Zhang Ping level 3 growth potential 4 stars. I also gained the ability of a fire devourer. I can transform flames consumed into fire elemental power stored within my body and release energy at any time until the stored fire energy is depleted. While I was checking, Cho Kong hurried in and asked, what happened in here? You didn't throw the scarlet serpent scale into the furnace. That stuff explodes. It's my fault, I forgot to tell you. I scratched my head awkwardly, offering to pay for the damages in the house. Cho Kong smiled and replied, no need, as long as you are alright. The materials merged so well, which requires extremely high temperatures to achieve. You really have a talent. The school really missed out on you. With your current performance, you would easily qualify for the top 3 organizations. I became curious and asked, everyone always refers to the patrol and investigation teams as the top 3 organizations. What's the third one called? Sister Cho Kong said she didn't know what the organization was called, and what it does is unknown. After saying this, she handed me the newly forged weapon. The weapon is called Beauty's Tear, made from cold iron, and can easily damage intermediate level mutated beasts, level 10 to 19. Judging by the market price of materials, a weapon made from cold iron is worth about 3 years of my salary. For intermediate level mutated beasts, this weapon could be worth tens of thousands. Is it something I, with a monthly salary of 3,000, can accept? Hearing this, Sister Cho Kong chuckled. Consider it a reward for your progress. I have other tasks to attend to, so I must leave now. Take good care of the old master. He's a bit senile, and make sure he doesn't open the store for business. Hearing this, I nodded gratefully. Although the blacksmith shop isn't often open and hasn't been targeted by the natural order fox, the noise just now might attract their attention. I should take advantage of the darkness and patrol the area using my night walker ability. After patrolling for a while, I discovered a mutated beast disguised as a little girl. It's the first time I've seen a natural order fox with such low growth potential. Species, mutated fox, same as me, level 3. With my equipped gear, I should be able to defeat it. With this in mind, I picked up my weapon and stealthily approached. But just then, a burst of cold air hit my back, followed by a chilling female voice by my ear. Are you about to attack a child? Don't move, or I will kill you. If you don't want to die, find me at the orphanage training grounds. After she spoke, the chill behind me slowly dissipated. It seems she is not allied with the natural order fox, otherwise I'd be dead by now. I grew up in an orphanage and often practiced Jade 8 Fist in a small park nearby, so I named it Orphanage Training Grounds. That woman knows me, otherwise how would she know my secret? Not only that, but she also knows my past. She has been watching me, so she stopped me just as I was about to make a move. She must have a reason for drawing me here. As I approached the park, I felt like someone was watching. It seems there are others in these woods. A rat about the size of an adult house cat slowly emerged from behind a tree. This was a mutated beast. Identification successful. Mutated beast, armored venomtail rat species, mutated rat level 5. The bone spike at the end of its tail contains potent poison. This poison rat is 2 levels higher than me, but it seems quite cautious. Slowly retreating should allow me to escape, but if I don't deal with it now, the children from the orphanage might encounter it when they come to play in the park tomorrow. It's just one mutated beast, and with the equipment Sister Chio gave me, I can win. After a brief analysis, I tightly gripped the dagger, opting to strike first. I instantly exerted force under my feet, and like a cheetah, I charged out into the night. The armored venomtail rat did not dodge either. It curled up into a ball and quickly counterattacked. The rat's fur is extremely tough, and even though my dagger is razor sharp, most of the force was absorbed, making it difficult to inflict any damage. After a standoff, the armored venomtail rat retreated and created some distance. Its crimson eyes glared at me, its tail spraying several globs of poison. Although I don't have much combat experience, I can command my summoned beast, Zhang Ping, to fight as if I I were issuing commands in a game, dodging left and right. By observing, I discovered that its eyes are its weak spot. Only the eyes are not covered by the armor, but it curls up in defense, which is a bit tricky. I need to find a way to break its posture. I've got it. First, issue the command, Pearl Fist Rat Buster style. This move is powerful and imposing, focusing on using size advantage to overpower smaller enemies. First, attack the right side of the armored Venomtail rat, and while it's curled up, release the ignited fire elemental energy. Finally, as it uncurls its defense, strike directly at its weak spot, the eyes, with the dagger in a swift thrust. In the blink of an eye, the battle is over. After defeating this mutated beast, my level has also increased to 4. Indeed, actual combat is much faster for leveling up in training. Speaking of which, the appearance of this poison rat is somewhat strange. Besides the natural order fox, there shouldn't be other mutated beasts in the city. Just as I thought this, a black circle suddenly appeared under my feet. The moment I saw the black circle, I tried to jump away, but the next second I fell into it. The darkness inside the black circle was not ordinary night, but a kind of darkness where nothing can be seen. I could feel myself falling rapidly, but there was nothing I could do about it. It took about 30 seconds before I came to a stop. My body was covered in a blue liquid that clung to me like a gel suit, leaving only my head exposed. Before I could figure out what was going on, I saw a woman in white clothes and an ice mask standing in front of me, holding an ice sword. As soon as I saw her, she placed the sword against my neck. The chill from the sword blade quickly made me much more alert. A familiar voice came from the woman. Now you have 5 minutes to prove you're human. Prove I'm human? I am human. How should I prove it? Perhaps she too has noticed the mutated beasts lurking in the city, but can't differentiate them, so she's asking me to prove myself? Could that poison rat have been her test for me? Can you give a hint? Looking at the woman in front of me, I suddenly felt a bit of a headache. The woman remained silent, just waiting for my proof. Identify. I thought about it and simply decided to use the appraisal spell on the woman. Identification failed. The identification failed. After a series of failures, it finally succeeded 2 minutes later. Name: Lu Sishan. Species: human. Affiliation: Purge Squad. Potential: 5 stars. Level: 28. Talent: Water Elemental Manipulation. To have level 28. No wonder it was so hard to identify. Her faction is Purge Squad? I've never heard of it. Could it be the third major organization besides the patrol and investigation teams? I didn't continue to think further. After all, the most important thing now is to prove that I am human, not a mutated beast. She refers to this small park as a training ground, so she must be from the orphanage like me. However, I don't recall anyone named Lu Sishan from the orphanage. If she came from there, she must have changed her name. I tentatively listed the names with the surname Lu. Are you Lu Turin, Lu Isho, Lu Shuesheng, Lu Xingyu, Lu Cece? When I said the name Lu Cece, she visibly flinched. It seems she is Lu Cece. I remember she was 3 years older than me. When I entered Pearl Academy, she had already graduated and joined the investigation team. We practiced martial arts together for a few days as children. At that time, she taught me earth-shattering Cece's invincible fist very seriously, and I actually believed it. First move, second move, ha. Third move, ha he ha. Earth-shattering Cece's invincible fist. To prove I am human, I recited the martial arts chant Lu Cece taught me back then. The normally calm and composed Lu Sishan was suddenly extremely embarrassed. She looked at me and said, "Second question. According to investigations, your ability involves the contract gem, which was rated as useless because it didn't meet the activation conditions. Why has your behavior been so unusual recently?" I answered truthfully. 2 weeks ago, I swallowed a contract gem, became a summoned beast, and am only controlled by myself. I can see through their disguises. Based on my recent investigations, there are a large number of natural order foxes lurking in the city. I suspect a clan has invaded Pearl City. Their inherent racial ability is cognitive distortion. Lu Sishan skeptically asked whether what I was saying was true. I methodically continued to add, the proprietress of Wanchang Breakfast, the owner of Joan Furniture, the 3 blacksmiths at Dragon Spear's Long Weapon Workshop. These are all lower-level natural order foxes. You could start by verifying this. Lu Sishan pondered for a moment, looked at me, then pressed the communicator and relayed my words to her teammate. A teammate named Jean Bo spoke up. There have never been any mutated beasts known as natural order foxes near Pearl City. However, the abilities cognitive distortion have appeared in the past. We've already sent people to capture the most recent 2. They should be back soon. As soon as the words were spoken, suddenly there came a loud noise. The breakfast shop owner who had been captured went into a frenzy. Jean Bo stepped forward and punched the woman directly in the chest. As the woman died, the disguised natural order fox revealed its true form. Meanwhile, in the academy, Luo Shiyu, who was resting, suddenly opened her eyes. A natural order fox asked, "What's wrong?" Luo Shiyu looked around and said, "Yujio is dead. Someone has killed Yujio." She pushed off with her legs and instantly leaped 100 meters into the air. Suddenly, she sensed that another natural order fox had been killed. Who could quickly kill and then immediately cover up their aura, escaping my lock-on? Who could it be? The extremely angered Luo Shiyu let out a roar, and a terrifying gust of wind spread out as a shockwave. The shockwave instantly dispersed in all directions. At that moment, inside a secret room, room, Lu Sishan received the results of her teammates' verification. She released me from my restraints and said, although the results have been verified, we cannot be sure that your discovery of the natural order fox wasn't a trap set by them. So, I'm sorry, you can only serve as a spy. Apart from providing the location of the natural order fox, we will not have more contact for now. I will be watching over you from the shadows. If you discover anything, you can contact me at night. Hearing this, I smiled. Protection and surveillance. I understand. Don't worry. I will cooperate well with you, as long as it helps solve the natural order fox issue. Everything is negotiable. Lu Sishan then threw me a jade token, telling me I could use it to contact her in case of danger. Time quickly moved to the next day. I had just walked out of the blacksmith shop when I saw a young girl in a martial arts uniform distributing flyers. Interested in learning boxing? Who wants to learn Beastmaster Fist? Curiously, I took a flyer. Basic boxing entry 500 pearl coins. Secrets of Beast King Fist 99.99 pearl coins. The charges were indeed not cheap, and I wasn't sure if the style would suit me. Absolutely worth it. Our Beast King Fist martial arts are quite famous in Pearl City. If you don't believe me, I can demonstrate it for you. The girl then quickly got into position and demonstrated the first 3 forms of the Beast King Fist: King Ape style, Giant Crocodile style, and Phoenix Talon style. I used my abilities on the side to start learning directly. The Beast King Fist, whether in terms of footwork or techniques, was much more formidable than the Bright Fist. Indeed, a fine set of martial arts. The Beast King Fist is versatile and formless. However, she clearly lacked proficiency, failing to fully demonstrate the power of the Beast King Fist. As I was helping the girl up, several burly men approached. Who allowed you people from the Beast King Fist dojo to distribute flyers here? Hearing this, the girl quickly apologized. Sorry, I didn't know it wasn't allowed here. What's so good about learning the Beast King Fist, a low-level martial art? I suggest you come to our Shingi Fist dojo instead, a blonde young man said as he walked over. Isn't this Fivefold Lightning Neil's guy? Hearing my mocking words, Lu Baogua immediately became furious. I haven't settled a score with you for that incident at the blacksmith shop. Today is perfect. Xiongda, Xiong'er, I won't let you bully him. The girl quickly shielded me behind her. Taking advantage of this moment, I immediately activated the appraisal spell. Attribute panel. Name, Xiongda, Xiong'er. Species, human. Growth potential, 1 star. Level, 4. Talent, physical enhancement. Intelligence decreased by 70% in exchange for a certain degree of physical strength. Intelligence for physical enhancement? Is that even a talent? I then checked the girl's information. Name, Wang Jimin. Species, human. Growth potential, 7 stars. Abilities, diligence, will. Any skill can be improved through persistent training. It seems she has great potential. Every day of persistence increases the growth rate of similar types of training by 10%. Somewhat unexpectedly, I realized that Wang Jimin is definitely a powerhouse for the later stages. However, her current strength and sticking up for me is just causing me trouble. This is my issue. Let me handle it myself. Wang Jimin worried that I would be at a disadvantage facing 3 people alone, but I chuckled and reassured her. Didn't you just demonstrate the Beast King Fist? This is a good chance to practice on them. The 2 burly men charged at me first, and I commanded my body to quickly enter combat mode. I had perfectly copied each move that Wang Jimin demonstrated earlier. After 3 moves, 3 disheveled figures were sprawled on the ground. Let's go. Take me to the Beast King Fist dojo to sign up. Hearing my voice, Wang Jimin came back to her senses. You are so amazing. You learned it just by watching once. Can you teach me any moves I don't understand in the future? With your help, I can definitely become stronger quickly. Hearing this, I smiled and nodded, thinking to myself, you have the potential of 7 stars. At the very least, you'll be a high-level awakener, and you might even become a top-level awakener. Maybe in the future, I'll be the one asking for your help. After signing up at the Beast King Martial School, I returned to the blacksmith shop. Soon it was time for class the next day, and a burly instructor, likely between 40 and 50 years old, pushed the door open and walked in. In fact, most awakener with physical enhancement are robust and muscular, each one a powerhouse. This instructor had sideburns and a pair of wolf-like eyes, and you could see a pair of canine teeth when he spoke. Everyone, stand at attention. Incorrect posture, penalty of 50 laps. While he spoke, I activated the appraisal spell. Attributes, species, affiliation, Beast King Fist Martial School, potential, 5 stars. Forms, currently mastered Raging Lion Warrior and Running Wolf talent. Mimics hunger, gradually changes physique through food from his attributes. It appears he could almost rival Lu Sishan. Bida looked around, then walked up to me. Are you the kid who helped teach those from the Shingi clowns a lesson yesterday? I nodded and answered, what if I am? Let's see what you're made of. Bida warned, then swung his fist at me. I couldn't afford to speak. I could only command my body to keep dodging. I heard you learn the King Ape style of the Beast King Fist just by watching a demonstration once. After testing me a few times, Bida withdrew his fist. I didn't believe it at first, but now I do. It's a pity the person who demonstrated it to you is only half trained. Some of the steps are way off. I'll correct it for you alone. Hearing this, I bowed in gratitude. Bida then looked at the others. Next, it's time to check if any of you have been slacking off. Line up and spar with me. Those who don't meet the standards will do 500 push-ups and run 10 kilometers with weights. At that moment, Wang Jiaming quietly pulled me aside. That instructor won't teach me more, so could you teach me privately after he corrects you? I nodded, indicating no problem. After class, come with me to the blacksmith shop, and I'll be your sparring partner. Days quickly passed. During these days, I found time to coach Wang Jiaming. I broke down the King Ape style into several small moves for her to practice one by one, and only then did she begin to show some effectiveness. The Beast King Fist indeed has its intricacies, and after a few days of practice, I felt a subtle sign of improvement in my level. Sister Cho Kong returned to the blacksmith shop after being away for a few days. She leaned against the counter, gave a wry smile. Damn, that was a close one. I don't know what's going on, but there were far fewer wild beasts and mutated beasts outside, so we had to venture deeper into the northern forests. We ended up running into a pack of wolves, and all of them were mutated beasts. I asked her if she was hurt, and she shook her head in response. Fortunately, we used earth-moving shovels to hide. The wolf pack couldn't find prey and went to attack the wild people nearby. I managed to get something good from the wolves while I was at it. This thing is rare. While speaking, she took out a green gemstone. I took the gemstone and used the appraisal spell on it, discovering it was a very rare biological crystal capable of storing wind elemental energy. By mental guidance, the wind energy inside the wind gem could be released to form attacks like wind blades or storms. Just as I got the gemstone, I felt a slight chill in my palm, and a faint breeze came from the wind gem. I closed my eyes, carefully sensing the wind, the birds in the trees, and the touch, hardness, and temperature of the gemstone. Suddenly, with a crack, voices of many men and women unexpectedly continued to enter my ears. I slightly widened my eyes and immediately used the appraisal spell on myself. Identification successful. Summon Beast. Zhang Ping. Level 4. Contract Gem Level 4. Extra effect. Triggered. Awaken Talent. Wind Whisperer. Randomly hear emotionally charged voices within 10 miles. Unable to control actively. Indeed, a new talent, just like the previous Fire Devourer situation. No time to think further. Two raspy voices suddenly reached my ears. Yu Lu. Besides Wang Jiaming, there's another man in the shop. That man seems to be the one who got us blamed in the academy dormitory. He looks tasty. Let's eat them for lunch today. I'll take the boy. You can have Wang Jiaming. Hearing this, my heart sank, and I immediately looked towards the door. It was Natural Order Foxes. Not good. We've been spotted. I then took out the jade token and sent a message to Lu Sishan, but after a long wait, there was no response from her side. These two are mid-level Natural Order Foxes, and even with Sister Chiu, we stand no chance. To avoid involving Sister Chiu and Uncle Lu, I decided to first take Wang Jiaming and leave this place. In the backyard of the blacksmith shop, Wang Jiaming was still practicing. I grabbed her, trying to escape through the back door, but it was already too late. The two mutated beasts were already blocking the doorway. Where are you planning to go? Hearing this familiar voice, Wang Jiaming turned around puzzled. Mom and Dad, what are you doing here? Zhang Ping, it's okay. They are my parents. I didn't speak while I blocked Wang Jiaming and quickly checked the information on the two Natural Order Foxes. The two Natural Order Foxes slowly approached, eyeing us like prey. Minmin, who is this with you? Why does he seem so afraid of us? He's a friend from the dojo. Just as she finished speaking, a black whirlpool suddenly rose from the ground. Seeing this, my face lit up with joy. Secret room space. Perfect. As our figures gradually sank into the whirlpool, the two Natural Order Foxes hastily swung their claws and lunged at us. In desperation, I held Wang Jiaming and fell quickly, but still got my back scratched by one of the Natural Order Fox's claws. After landing on the floor of the dark room, I quickly stood up, cautiously watching the two Natural Order Foxes. They reacted very quickly, pouncing on us the moment they landed, leaving no chance to dodge. This is the difference in levels. I could only barely fend them off with my dagger. As the other Natural Order Fox attacked Wang Jiaming, just as she was about to be torn apart by its claws, Lu Sishan finally arrived. Zhang Ping, get out of the way. After alerting me, she immediately unleashed her power. The next second, a blue ice blade traced a beautiful arc, like a necklace, and in the blink of an eye, it pierced through the chest of the Natural Order Fox. Lu Sishan swung her long sword, directly aiming at the necks of the two Natural Order Foxes. At this moment, the expressions on the foxes' faces froze, and they fell straight to the ground. Seeing her parents dead in front of her, Wang Jiaming completely broke down, muttering continuously, "Why?" I sighed deeply and explained, "They were not your parents, just Natural Order Foxes wearing your parents' skins. These two mutated beasts killed your parents and disguised themselves as them. After the human skin of the Natural Order Foxes was peeled off, their ugly true forms were revealed." Meanwhile, in the City Lord's mansion, a dense gathering of Natural Order Foxes assembled. A menacing Natural Order Fox sitting on a seat said in a deep voice, "This week, 9 of our kin have died. It seems humans have found a way to break our illusions." A Natural Order Fox with the skin of a charming woman on its forehead spoke up, "Your Highness, why don't we just kill all the humans and take over the city?" This suggestion was countered by another Natural Order Fox wearing the skin of a fat man. "Then what will we eat afterward? Grass?" The Natural Order Foxes joined the discussion, which eventually turned into a quarrel, and an angry atmosphere enveloped the entire City Lord's mansion. Luo Shiyu slightly narrowed her eyes, showing showing a fierce expression. Silence. Killing all humans is not realistic and would waste food. The priority is to lure out those hiding in the shadows and eliminate them one by one. Does the deputy city lord have any strategies? Hearing this, the only deputy mayor in the city lord's mansion spoke up. The human deputy mayor, Wang Ziming, Your Highness, perhaps we could bring in other races to first muddy the waters of Pearl City and then focus on clearing out some of the stronger humans. Among the three major organizations, besides the patrol team and the investigation team, there is one team that only the city lord knows about. Originally, you severely injured the city lord, and he fled with injuries, whereabouts unknown. I suspect he is hiding within that organization. I am certain he would not leave the city and is definitely waiting for us to slip up. The seductive-looking natural order fox chimed in, Your Highness, bringing in other races is a good idea, and it's also a chance to change things up. Luo Shiyu nodded in agreement with this plan. However, the current king is still asleep. Although you have helped our race, if you dare make any slight move, I will kill you just the same. Make sure you understand your place. Wang Ziming. Hearing this, Wang Ziming immediately knelt to express his loyalty, but his eyes emitted a cold light, and the corners of his mouth gradually turned upwards. I have devoted my life to Pearl City. Unfortunately, the city lord is incompetent and Pearl City has failed to develop. I only hope that Pearl City can be taken over by a stronger leader. In the meantime, after seeing the human skin of the natural order foxes, Wang Jiaming couldn't believe it and was completely stunned, tears uncontrollably falling from her eyes. Mom and Dad, I'm sorry. If only I had realized sooner. She choked out. But even if I had realized, what could I have done? In the end, it's because I'm too weak. I'm someone who can't even learn the simplest boxing techniques properly. Why did this have to happen to my parents? Why wasn't it me who died? I couldn't bear it and stepped forward to embrace her, comforting her. Listen, this is not your fault. Like you, I also had someone very important to me killed by the natural order foxes. I always think, if I had stopped her from going to the patrol team that day, maybe the tragedy wouldn't have happened. But I know very well that even if I could go back, the outcome wouldn't change. Joining the patrol team was her dream. No one can stop nor change what's meant to happen. It's not your fault your family encountered tragedy, but you can change the future. You can become stronger to protect other important people. I believe your parents' spirits in heaven would also be happy for you. As for the monsters in the city, trust me, I will completely eradicate them. Just as I was saying this, I suddenly felt a surge in my chest and a mouthful of blood spurted out, and I fainted, having forced my body to keep going. Now that I relaxed, I suddenly felt drained. Later on, I had just woken up from a coma. I heard most of the meeting's content through the wind speaker, and natural order foxes understood what was going on, so I relayed the dialogue to Lu Sishan. Lu Sishan then reported the content to the organization. The deputy mayor has already betrayed humanity. As for the king they mentioned, who can strengthen the clan's illusions and make them undetectable even to top awakened, it must indeed be the king among the natural order foxes, since their king is still asleep. Now is our best chance to counterattack. Zhang Ping, we need your cooperation to identify the natural order fox. The Purge squad made a series of arrangements through the meeting. The first step was to launch the Celestial Curtain to partition Pearl City. The Celestial Curtain is a combination technique initiated by the barrier teams Manny, Chen Luowei, and Su Jie. Manny's ability is Black Curtain, with advanced abilities Black Channel and Black Chamber. The secret rooms where Lu Sishan and I have met several times were provided by her. Chen Luowei's ability is Light and Shadow Distortion, with the advanced ability Dynamic Illusion, which can change the colors of light and shadows. She usually acts simultaneously with Manny, maintaining the safety of the cleaning team's base and occasionally providing invisibility capabilities for Lu Sishan. Su Jie's ability is Solar Charging, with the advanced ability Energy Sharing. She serves as the power bank for Manny and Chen Luowei, allowing them to sustain their abilities for long durations, entirely dependent on the vast energy provided by Su Jie. Otherwise, the two couldn't last. Late at night, while most people were still sleeping, unbeknownst to them, an invisible black curtain was slowly descending over Pearl City, enveloping the entire city in an instant. The celestial curtain can pull creatures below the level of the king into a dark chamber space and can also modify the scenery inside the space to confuse opponents. The next day, Pearl City operated as usual, but no one realized that a change had quietly taken place. Disguised as humans, natural order foxes Yue and Yuer arrived on the streets, tasked by the city lord's mansion to capture a few humans and brought them back. While walking, Yuer suddenly stopped. It faintly sensed something was off, but it was already too late. The celestial curtain had already trapped the two natural order foxes. Jin Bo suddenly appeared, swinging his fist in a surprise attack. Unfortunately, his punch missed as the two natural order foxes were incredibly fast, quickly pulling away and dodging to a distance. The natural order foxes glared fiercely at Jin Bo. "You dare to attack us so brazenly in Pearl City. Aren't you afraid we'll call for reinforcements?" Hearing this, Jin Bo scoffed. "Why don't you try calling?" His ability is called Golden Blood. At the moment of activation, his body shows many golden lightning patterns, and his hair stands up, shimmering with golden light. According to intelligence, these two natural order foxes are level 25, which shouldn't be a problem for him him at level 32. Unexpectedly, as soon as the fight began, Jinbo suffered a setback. Even though he blocked the opponent's offensive, he was mysteriously injured. Seeing this, Yui mockingly taunted, "Is that all you've got? I really don't know how those of your kind killed the others." However, barely a second into its gloating, Jinbo's fist instantly smashed into its head. Yui was blasted dozens of meters away, crashing heavily into the concrete. Seeing this, Yui swung its claws in a fierce attack, but Jinbo ignored it. Jinbo didn't pay attention to Yui's attack. Instead, he instinctively grabbed the natural order fox's arm. "So, I see. Although I can't see you, I've figured out your size. This ability is indeed strong in an ambush, but it's not much for a frontal confrontation." The arm of Yui that was grabbed broke, and it let out a painful scream. "Help me." Seeing this, Yui leapt from a distance, but before it got close, it was hit by Yui, thrown by Jinbo. Jinbo used the ground to launch himself into the air, lifting his left leg to build momentum, and then kicking both natural order foxes towards the ground like kicking a ball. "Why can't we sense our kin? We fell into a trap." The two natural order foxes let out a roar of despair. Jinbo then began to furiously punch, as if to vent all the pent-up anger of the time on them. Soon, both natural order foxes had their arms broken, their organs shattered, gruesomely beaten all over. Lu Sihan and I quietly watched this scene from afar. Jinbo, as the leader of the combat group, truly has impressive strength. Moments later, Lu Sihan received orders from her superiors. Lu Sihan, increase the celestial curtain. Abnormal beasts outside the city are gathering and rioting for unknown reasons. If they enter the city now, it might burden the celestial curtain. Go outside the city to investigate. Take Zhang Ping with you. It's a good opportunity to train his combat skills. The natural order foxes he identified have been recorded. I will arrange for the combat group to handle them. Hearing this, I suddenly thought of Sister Chio's encounter with the storm gathering and wondered if it could be related. After ending the call, Lu Sihan called out and left the place. I followed behind her, curious. "Was that person a big shot?" I asked. Lu Sihan nodded and replied, "He's our leader. After the mission, you'll meet him." I followed Lu Sihan outside the city, and though it was my first time leaving the city, it didn't feel as dangerous as I had imagined. "Sister Sihan, what are these plants?" As I was curiously examining the fiery red plants by the roadside, Lu Sihan suddenly grabbed me forcefully. "Don't go there. It's dangerous. These plants are called hydrochloric acid grass. Their fruits contain hydrochloric acid and are highly corrosive. When the fruits ripen, they explode, propelling into the sky and bursting open, scattering seeds around. Be very careful. Additionally, there is a type of mutated beast that feeds on hydrochloric acid grass," Lu Sihan said, pointing to a white rabbit eating the grass nearby. "That's your first opponent. I need to investigate the situation with the beast riot. Don't wander off too far from here." I looked at the rabbit. Species: mutated rabbit, level 9, low-level mutated beast abilities. Aqua shot, can shoot highly corrosive liquid from hidden sweat glands behind its ears. This rabbit looks harmless. This rabbit's level is even higher than the venom-tailed rat. I'll take the initiative while it's not paying attention. After thinking it over, I suddenly threw my dagger at the back of the rabbit, which was foraging. However, as if it had eyes on its back, the rabbit dodged with a leap just as the dagger was about to hit. Seeing this, I ignited flames in my hands, approached swiftly, and punched directly at it. The bullet rabbit quickly curled up into a ball, spraying a large amount of green liquid from its ears. This liquid was like buckshot, and the shooting speed was extremely fast, all hitting me. The rabbit hopped around the hydrochloric acid grass, triggering a lot of the plants. Seeing this, I quickly dodged while analyzing the situation. This rabbit is immune to the venom of hydrochloric acid grass and very cunning. It first sprays acid to keep me at bay, and then deliberately lures me into an area with ripe fruits, making it quite tricky to deal with. Why didn't the acid corrode me? I clearly caught the rabbit's acid with my hand. Could it be because of the fire? At that moment, the rabbit launched another acid attack. I tentatively swept it with my left arm, and flames burst forth, instantly forming a wall of fire that blocked all the acid. Indeed, the acid was useless to fire, and was directly evaporated by the heat. Seeing that ranged attacks were ineffective against me, the rabbit immediately showed a fierce expression and suddenly sped up, pouncing on me for a close-range attack. I swung my dagger, continuously attacking and defending. However, I was still inadvertently scratched by the rabbit's claws, and its claw strike also had a corrosive effect. To avoid further corrosion, I had to release flames to cover my entire body, which also caused a rapid depletion of my flame reserves. I must end this battle quickly. I immediately launched a rapid attack on the rabbit, releasing the remaining flames while doing so, locking down its range of movement. Soon, the rabbit, unable to escape, was cornered. Facing my attack, it leapt into the air, but this was exactly what I wanted. In the air, let's see how you dodge. After retracting the flames around my body, I threw out a wall of fire at the rabbit. With a bang, the rabbit screamed as it fell back to the ground. Seeing it wasn't dead yet, I approached with my dagger and delivered a few more stabs. Killed the bullet rabbit, all attributes +2, worthy of a level 9 monster. Killing one actually added 2 points to my attributes. Unfortunately, my level did not increase, as the higher the level, the harder it is to level up. Therefore, it's common to increase attributes without leveling up after training and fighting. Just as I was rejoicing, a noise reached my ears. Turning my head, I saw, not knowing when, a dense crowd of bullet rabbits had appeared. Under the roar of a rabbit that was one size larger, the rest of the rabbits pounced as if commanded. "Cece, help me!" I started running, signaling to Lu Sishan while I ran. But I hadn't run far before I found myself surrounded. The rabbits collectively launched an acid attack, and since my flame reserves were depleted, I could only curl up, attempting to endure with my clothes. But the acid did not fall on me. All the acid was blocked by a wall of ice. This familiar elemental water. Indeed, it was Sister Cece. After Lu Sishan came to my side, she waved her arm, and the next second, wave-like torrents of water surged towards the rabbits. The rabbits had no chance to dodge, and most were swept into the current. With a snap of Lu Sishan's fingers, soon these currents froze, trapping them together. Seeing this scene, I was dumbfounded. So impressive. I used all my strength just to deal with one earlier. The remaining rabbits, instead of being scared, rushed forward one after the other. But strangely, they did not attack us. Instead, like being attracted, they all crashed into the ice wall where the rabbit leader was. Lu Sishan noticed this unusual scene and drew her sword, killing the remaining rabbits. She confidently released the ice wall and carefully searched inside the body of the rabbit leader. Indeed, she found a blue bead. This bead was entirely blue and emitted an indescribable fragrance. Lu Sishan explained, "This is a spirit controlling pill, created by a certain organization to control mutated beasts. The Beastmasters Yu clan. Have they really appeared? It is said that the spirit controlling pill emits a unique fragrance that only low to mid-level mutated beasts can detect. This scent lures the mutated beasts to consume it. Those that eat the spirit controlling pill lose their rationality and are ultimately forced into domestication. However, how the Zhu clan controls these mutated beasts is still unknown. The riot of the mutated beasts is likely related to the spirit controlling pill. I will report this to headquarters, and further investigation is needed to confirm if it's the work of the Zhu clan. Until we clear this up, you just stick with me outside the city to train." I nodded in response. Okay. But unbeknownst to me, a person in black was quietly watching this scene from behind a large tree. Lu Sishan seemed to sense something and swung a sword chi towards that tree. But after the tree fell, nothing was found. No one? Was it just my imagination? A week quickly passed. Inside the city lord's mansion of Pearl City, a natural order fox that had eaten Luo Shiyu sat in the great hall, listening to the reports of its subordinates. "Your Highness, the natural order foxes living around Craftsman Street have all been assembled here." Luo Shiyu nodded and looked down. "I believe you all are aware, recently humans have found a way to break mental control, causing heavy casualties to our kind. Over the past week, I've noticed that our kin who were killed were mainly located on Craftsman Street. Those of you living near Craftsman Street are likely to be targeted next. I want you all to make some noise. Make the enemy think you've noticed something and are trying to escape, to provoke them into acting prematurely. I want to see who exactly is behind this." Meanwhile, outside the city, I was still relentlessly grinding rabbit monsters. After a week of grinding rabbits, I reached level 6, and I had completely mastered their attack patterns and weaknesses. First, I neutralized their ranged attacks without harm, provoking them. Once provoked, they would cover their bodies in acid for close combat. The acid can be ignited, but the downside is that it burns very briefly and isn't fatal. But if used with cinnabar serpent scales as fuel, the flame could continue to burn indefinitely. After using up all the serpent scales I had collected during this period, I checked my attribute panel and, indeed, found that my level had increased by 1. Having defeated several higher level enemies, all attributes had additionally increased by 1 point, and my contract gem had also advanced to level 5. I initially thought the level of the contract gem was synchronized with my own, but I later discovered this wasn't the case. Upgrading the contract gem is more difficult. I concentrated the gem and prepared to consume it, eagerly anticipating what ability I would awaken this time, hoping it would be combat related. Just then, a massive amount of black smoke suddenly erupted from a dead rabbit. The next second, the rabbit shakily stood up. "Isn't this guy dead yet?" Seeing this, I took out my dagger, ready to continue the fight. The rabbit lunged at me, and I struck it with my dagger in one swing. Unexpectedly, the rabbit managed to evade by turning into black smoke. What is this? Could it be the spirit of the rabbit? Never mind, spirit or ghost, either way, go to die. I chased after it and slashed again. This time, the rabbit didn't have time to turn into black smoke and was hit, its body falling rigidly to the ground. Could this bullet rabbit have been controlled by a spirit controlling pill? Curious, I dissected the rabbit's stomach and indeed found something, but it wasn't a spirit controlling pill. I immediately started to analyze it. After more than 10 attempts, I finally succeeded in identifying it. Ding, nether mist essence. Quality, unknown. Description, the power essence stored in the testicles of a nether mist black goat. Consuming it can lead to unexpected results. As the attributes of the nether mist essence were displayed, an image playback related to this item also appeared before my eyes. A massive black goat, emanating black mist all over, transformed the mist into huge goat horns, constantly attacking the surrounding mutated beasts. Suddenly, a giant mutated wild boar charged at it. The black goat instantly dispersed into mist, then recongregated above the wild boar, crashing down with with dense goat horns. The back of the wild boar was pierced by several large holes, but the wild boar had an extremely strong vitality. While being attacked, it bit down, and the black goat immediately let out a painful scream. Immediately after, a large amount of black mist drilled out of its body, all pouring into the wild boar's mouth. Before the wild boar could spit out what was in its mouth, it was directly burst by the black mist, dying together with the black goat. The image playback ended. I stared at the black bead and fell into deep thought. To eat or not to eat? I had an intuition that if I ate this bead, there was a high likelihood I would gain the power of the nether mist. However, the problem was, knowing that this thing came from the testicles of a black goat, I felt somewhat uneasy. Memories of the past surfaced in my mind, being inspected by the natural order fox in school, when my life wasn't in my own hands. Jing Yao, in the despair faced in the dark chamber at the patrol team headquarters when attacked by a natural order fox, having to force a smile and play along despite feeling as weak as an ant. Do I, as insignificant as I am, have the luxury to be picky? After a moment of self-mockery, I decided. Without hesitation, I swallowed the black bead. The next second, a sharp pain erupted within my body, and I collapsed to the ground, curling up in agony. Faintly, it felt as though something rushed from my stomach to my brain, followed by what seemed like a piercing scream. The scream was like an auditory hallucination, vanishing instantly. I clenched my teeth, trying my best to stay silent. The image of Su Jingyao being killed flashed in my mind again. Zhang Ping, promise me, no matter what setbacks you face, you must survive. Su Jingyao, don't worry, I absolutely won't die before I've killed all these foxes. About 5 minutes later, the pain gradually subsided. I lay there, drained, too exhausted to move. Black mist seeped out of my body, covering it like a thin veil. It was a while before I used the appraisal spell on myself. Analysis successful. Summon beast. Zhang Ping, level 7. Growth potential 7 stars. Abilities: body of nether mist. Basic description: can convert absorbed fear from living beings into manipulable nether mist. Each point of nether mist consumed can generate mist with 10% of the current level's attack power and 10% physical manifestation, up to 1000%. I was very satisfied with this new talent added. It was combat-oriented and well-rounded in both offense and defense, though I was unsure about its power, which seemed to depend on the amount of nether mist consumed. I lay there silently smiling with my eyes closed, but as I smiled, tears began to flow down my cheeks. Whenever I thought of how Su Jingyao was killed, my teeth itched with hatred, but soon I will have the strength to avenge her. Just then, a few villagers noticed me. Young man, are you alright? Upon hearing this, I slowly stood up and told them I was fine. It might have been because the black mist enveloping me looked somewhat frightening. There's a ghost, the villagers shouted in terror and fled without looking back. Nether mist storage 23/100. Does this mean I can absorb others' fear and convert it into nether mist? This nether mist doesn't feel like actual mist, nor does it seem like energy. However, the form of the nether mist can change according to my will. I just don't know about its power yet. Let's try the minimum damage. I immediately controlled a wisp of nether mist to form a dagger. Then, with a thought, I slashed the dagger towards a nearby tree. Instantly, the tree was cleanly cut in half, revealing a smooth cross-section. Only 1 point of nether mist storage, and it has such strong power. Interesting, really interesting. This nether mist can not only cut, but also block attacks. If used properly, the body of nether mist will be my strongest trump card against high-level mutated beasts. While I was marveling at the powerful capabilities of the nether mist, Lu Sishan suddenly ran over from a distance. Zhang Ping, did you encounter a nether mist mutated beast? Where is it? From Lu Sishan's cautious demeanor, I sensed some issues and told her about my earlier experiences. After listening to my story, Lu Sishan was silent for a while. Then she looked up at me and shouted angrily, "You ate the nether mist essence? Do you think your life is too long? Eating things of unknown origin. Do you know you could have died?" Lu Sishan scolded. I gave a wry smile and replied, "It shouldn't be that bad. I've checked with the appraisal spell. It's okay. If there really is a problem, I can command myself to spit it out." Hearing this, Lu Sishan said sternly, "What makes you think you can spit it out? Nether mist mutated beasts are creatures of unknown origin. They don't have a specific form and generally reside inside some organisms, akin to parasites. That black goat and the bullet rabbit were probably puppets of a nether mist mutated beast, but after the puppet hosts die, they will burrow into one of the host's organs, waiting for the next host. The point is, nether mist mutated beasts can control the objects they infect." Hearing her words, I was stunned, suddenly remembering the faint scream I heard during the intense abdominal pain. Was that the nether mist mutated beast trying to infest me? Since I'm okay, does that mean the infestation failed? Lu Sishan shook her head and answered, "I don't know. You are very special. Perhaps there's a monster residing within you that eliminated the nether mist mutated beast. Or perhaps it's because you can exert absolute control over yourself, so even if you are parasitized, it doesn't affect you. In any case, if you undergo some sort of mutation, I can only resort to killing you." Just as she finished speaking, a spider suddenly dropped between the two. Lu Sishan immediately jumped in fright, hastily swinging her sword in panic. "A spider! Such a big spider! Get it away!" she yelled as she plunged into my arms. Seeing her panicked state, I felt a warmth in my heart. Still scared of bugs? Just like when we were kids. Sishan, look what I caught. As a child, I liked to catch insects for fun, and she was most afraid of them. My friend ran away because you scared it. Seeing my disappointed face, she looked puzzled. Silly boy, there are so many mates in the orphanage who can be your friends. Why do you catch bugs to be your friends? I sighed, but they will leave the orphanage one day. What should I do then? Hearing this, she comforted me with a smile. Sishan promises you, no matter what happens in the future, I will always be your good friend. Really? No lying. Let's pinky swear. At this moment, Lu Sishan, holding me, came to her senses, hurriedly pushed me away, and then earnestly instructed, Zhang Ping, in the wilderness, any item of unknown origin carries unknown risks. There's no such thing as a free lunch in this world. Remember, never let your guard down. In the future, when faced with similar items, you must remember this well. Hearing her words, I smiled and nodded. I thought after joining the Purge Squad, Sishan had become aloof and distanced herself from me, but now it seems she hasn't changed at all, still caring for me just like before. She just doesn't like to show it. At that moment, Lu Sishan's communication device suddenly rang. After she answered, a serious expression immediately appeared on her face. My investigation task and your special training will have to be put on hold for now. We need to head back to Pearl City immediately. Team leader Jean Bo has been attacked by the Natural Order Foxes and is seriously injured. I must return to the city to support him. Even he got injured? Why don't we ask for help from the outside investigation team or other external support? I asked, puzzled. To my question, Lu Sishan shook her head and said, that would only scare them off, and the world outside the city is quite complicated. I'll explain more on the way. On the road, she told me about the situation in the world outside the city. I don't know since when, but mutated beasts have been rampant, forcing the surviving humans to build walls for protection. Only the investigation teams and civilians awakened within the city can venture out to map new areas. Due to blocked transportation, according to the information from the investigation teams, the areas near Pearl City with fewer mutated beasts include villages and wild people, and further out lies an ocean. Due to the presence of top-tier mutated beasts at sea, further exploration has been halted. Whether other cities exist or what lies beyond the sea is still unknown. With this question in mind, I followed Lu Sishan into Pearl City. Members of the investigation team approached us, beginning to explain the current situation. These days, we rely on the celestial curtain to fully monitor the entire Pearl City, and no unusual activity from the Natural Order Fox has been detected. Until last night, the low to mid-level Natural Order Foxes from the Craftsman Street burst out. We went to confront them, not expecting it to be a trap. The enemy's leader was also present, and team leader Jean Bo got seriously injured while covering our retreat. The captain thinks you need to temporarily take over team leader Jin's duties and lead the team to guard the safety of Pearl City. After hearing this, Lu Sishan nodded. I quickly stepped forward to ask if she needed help. She replied, no need. Go back to the Iron Soul for now. I'll come find you when I have time. Alright, I hope both brother Jean Bo and Sishan are safe. I then turned and headed towards the city. Finally, I could relax a bit. These past few days in the wilderness have been exhausting, but halfway there, I suddenly sensed something was off. Looking at a nearby stall, I noticed that several people who were trading suddenly froze. I swiftly turned to look ahead, only to see an old man with white hair and beard, but not many wrinkles, hands clasped behind his back, smilingly standing in front of me.